and welcome to Nature's Path to Wellness. My name is Wendy, and today we're going to be talking about vitamin A. So, vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, and we're going to talk about where we can get vitamin A from, what the functions of vitamin A is, what happens or what the symptoms are of a deficiency, why does a deficiency happen, and the supplements that you can take to get vitamin A into your diet, and what the recommended dietary allowance is. So the precursor form of vitamin A, which is known as beta-carotene, can be found in fruits and vegetables, such as carrots, sweet potatoes, kale, and orange-colored fruits. If you wanted to get your vitamin A in your diet from your fruits and vegetables, you would have to consume a lot of fruits and vegetables in a day to get your recommended dietary allowance for the day. So let's talk about carrots and kale, for example. If you wanted to consume all of your vitamin A in your diet, you would need to have about 35 to 40 pounds of carrots and about 450 cups of kale. I like carrots and kale an awful lot, but I don't know if I could consume 35 or 40 pounds or 450 cups of kale in a day. That would be an awful lot. And the problem with consuming them in the diet is a lot of people cook their vegetables. So carrots, people are boiling their carrots or adding them to soups. And what happens is that the form of vitamin A that is in those vegetables is completely annihilated with the heat. So that type of vitamin A that is in the carrots and the different types of vegetables that you consume is known as beta-carotene. So it is not the active form of vitamin A. It actually needs to come into your body and be absorbed, and then your body converts it into the active form, which is known as retinol. So the problem with it is cooking and the amount that we would need to consume from the diet. You can also find vitamin A in the active form, which is the retinol, in eggs, the yolk of the eggs, dairy such as butter and cream and milk. But the one thing about that is that you need to consume them in the raw form, which is next to impossible these days. I'm sure a lot of people, if they're consuming dairy, would prefer to have it in the raw form. But with pasteurization, it actually kills the active form of the vitamin A in it. So unless you can find raw butter, cream, or milk, you won't be finding vitamin A in the milk that you get off the shelf in the grocery store. You can also get vitamin A in beef liver and fish. So if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, it is very, very likely that you're going to need to supplement your vitamin A in order to get enough in your diet. So what does vitamin A do? Vitamin A is essential for vision. It helps to prevent cataracts, and it is good at helping to treat acne if you've got an acne problem. It protects the tissues that line the bladder, the kidneys, and the genital organs. It supports immune system functions, and it helps for focus. So what happens if you have a vitamin A deficiency? Well, there's some ways that you might be able to tell if you have a vitamin A deficiency. If you are experiencing nyctalopia, which is also known as night blindness. So if you're driving at night and you're having a hard time seeing, and it's not just raining or terribly bad weather, you might be experiencing at least the start of night blindness, and that can be a symptom of vitamin A deficiency. You can also tell by how long it takes for your eyes to adjust to the dark. So if you're going from a room that is bright and all of a sudden, you turn down your lights or you turn them off and you're going into, another area of the house which has got some more light, but you're walking there and you're finding that it's taking your eyes a long time to adjust, that might be a good sign that you are having a bit of a vitamin A deficiency and you're experiencing a little bit of night blindness. So it's interesting to note that retinol, which is the active form of vitamin A, is very much like the word retina. So it does have a lot to do with the rods in your eyes or in the retina area, which are in control of your peripheral vision and your night vision, the light and the dark. That's what it helps to control. And the important thing to think about here is the protein rhodopsin, which mediates dim light vision. And so again, if you're deficient, you may be experiencing some problems. You may also be experiencing a vitamin A deficiency if you have extremely dry skin. So if it's not some sort of weather condition where, where I live, it gets really cold in the winter, and sometimes we experience dry skin just because it's extremely cold. I moisturize morning and night, but if I'm outside working on something or doing something and it's extremely cold outside, I might find that sometimes I'm getting, a little bit of dry skin on my hands, or I'm noticing that there's some cracks starting to form along my nails and stuff, but that can also just be because it is super cold out. But this is just dry skin that you're experiencing all the time. And that could be one of the symptoms of having a vitamin A deficiency. So why do we experience a vitamin A deficiency? It can be because of pregnancy and lactation. In those times in a woman's life, if you're pregnant or if you're lactating, vitamin A, you do require more at those times. And so if you're already, deficient because of your diet, and you're further, you're going to be more deficient or possibly more deficient if you're pregnant and lactating. If you have a low-fat diet. So vitamin A is a fat-soluble vitamin, and fat in your diet is required for your body to assimilate like the beta carotene that you're consuming in your fruits and vegetables, or even if you're taking a supplement, you need to have enough fat in your diet in order to help absorb it. So pasteurized foods, if you're having a lot of pasteurized foods, and unfortunately, like I said before, most of us can't just go to the grocery store and find raw milk or any type of dairy products. It's just not available, and it's very hard to come by. So that can be the thing, is having a lot of pasteurized foods. We're not getting the natural vitamin A in our diet that we should be. And polymorphism can also be a condition that you have where you have a gene in your body that is having a problem converting the vitamin A. So if you're experiencing a deficiency, or you suspect that you're experiencing a deficiency, how can you supplement your vitamin A? So I don't know, depending on your age, you might remember back in the day when mom would give you cod liver oil. And my mom didn't really do that, but I know I've heard of a lot of people whose parents used to give them cod liver oil. And it was, I think parents back in the day knew and understood the importance of having vitamin A in the diet. And so they would give that to the kids. And of course, it tastes terrible. I have tried it a time or two, but you can get capsules of vitamin liver oil. And if you take fish oil, so some people want to take a fish oil that they've found in their supplement store, just be aware that fish oil has only omega-3 fatty acids, and it doesn't actually contain vitamin A. So cod liver oil is the only thing that does contain vitamin A. It contains vitamin D, and it has omega-3s in it. So as I mentioned before, it does taste terrible if you were to have a spoonful of cod liver oil, but you can take a capsule so that you can avoid the taste and still get the benefit. Do note that smokers should avoid, so you can get like a beta carotene supplement, and it's something that if you're a smoker, you should avoid, because there is actually it's been documented that there is an increased risk of lung and prostate cancer. So that's something you want to take care, keep in mind. So large amounts of beta carotene is safe. So if we're thinking about when we talked about the carrots before, and we were having 35 to 40 pounds of carrots or 450 cups of kale, that is totally safe. However, taking large doses of vitamin A is not safe. So that is something to note. You can have a hypervitaminosis or vitaminosis issue, and the body will only convert the amount that it actually needs. So if you're going to be taking a vitamin A supplement, you may also want to consider a bile salt, which actually gives you increased absorption of vitamin A. So if we're going to talk about how much vitamin A is recommended, I have noted the international units, which when you go to your local vitamin store and you purchase a bottle of vitamin A, the retinol form, it usually comes in an international units or IU format. You can also look up, if you wish, the micrograms or whatever that you want to take it in. So if we're talking about infants 0 to 6 months, we're looking at about 1,300 international units. Children 7 or infants 7 to 12 months would be 1,700 IU. 1 to 3 years old is 1,000 IU. You can notice how it changes there's a lot more required at a younger age, and as a child gets older, it tends to go down for a period of time. Between 1 to 3 years and 4 to 8 years, it goes down a little bit. And then at 9 to 13 years, 2,000 international units is what is recommended. Men 14 to 18, 3,000 international units are recommended, and 19 plus about 3,000. So there's no change there, as you can see. Women 14 to 18, ages 14 to 18 is 2,300 international units, and women 19 plus is 2,600 international units. And you will notice quite a big jump here when we're talking about breastfeeding. Women who are breastfeeding should be taking about 4,000 to 4,300 international units. So that's all I have for you today. I guess I should make a little bit of a mention about interactions when it comes to vitamin A if you're taking a supplement. Medications for skin conditions, so retinoids, can actually cause vitamin A toxicity. So if you're using a sort of a skin product that is high in vitamin A, it's a retinoid, you might want to be careful if you're also taking a supplement, because that can cause, it's a toxicity basically because you have too much vitamin A in your system. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you were able to discover some good information about the natural sources of vitamin A and the functions and what a deficiency might look like, and about supplements if you're needing to take them. I hope you'll join me for my next video, and if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.